Heritage Plantation, safety, 6'5", 218 pounds. Xavier Sorey, Graceville, outside linebacker, 6'3", 214 pounds. Terrence Lewis, Charmaine Madonna, Hollywood, Florida, outside linebacker, 6'1", 200 pounds. J.C. Latham, IMG Academy in Bradenton, offensive tackle, 6'5", 285 pounds. Jason Marshall, Palmetto, Miami, cornerback, 6'2", 180 pounds. Bryce Langston, Vanguard, that's in Ocala. And the position that he is at is what they call a WDE. That's a wide edge rusher, 6'2", 250 pounds. Cade Denhoff, Lakewood Christian in Lakeland. He is an SDA, so he is a strong defensive end, strong side defensive end, 6'4", 225 pounds. Jacoby Brooks, Booker T. Washington, that's in Miami, wide receiver, 6'3", 185 pounds. Tamiz Adala, IMG Academy in Bradenton. He is an SDA, strong defensive end, number 85 overall, 6'3", 2 pounds. The last one is Troy Stellato, Cardinal Gibbons, Fort Lauderdale, wide receiver, 6', 172 pounds. Okay. Cahill Brantley, Miami, Florida, wide receiver, 6'2", 200 pounds. Braylon Brown, wide receiver, 6'2", 190 pounds in Holiday. Kelly Lozado, ATH. Now, an ATH, guys, is just an athlete. 5'1", 185 pounds. He's in Miami. Jason Patterson, APB, 5'11", 180 pounds in Jacksonville. Michael Meniski, offensive guard or offensive center, 6'3", 285 pounds in Jacksonville. Jaden Hood, middle linebacker, 6'1", 212 pounds, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Brandon Barrow, APB, 5'8", 175 pounds, Clearwater, Florida. Christopher Thomas Jr., defensive tackle or strong defensive end, 6'6", 285 pounds in Fort Myers, Florida. KL Kelly, dual, 6'1", 200 pounds in Tampa, Florida. Amari Daniels, APB, 5'8", 186 pounds, Miami, Florida. Donovan Jones, AVP, 5'9", 189 pounds, Miami, Florida. Dallas Turner, WDE, 6'4", 235 pounds, Plantation, Florida. Kamari Kitchens, safety, 6', 185 pounds in Miami, Florida. Tavares Dawson, ATH, 5'11", 175 pounds in Lehigh Acres, Florida. Jake Slaughter, offensive tackle or offensive center, 6'4", 300 pounds in Ocala, Florida. Jamal Tarver, outside linebacker or strong safety, 6', 185 pounds in Royal Palm Beach, Florida. Ryan Rodriguez, offensive center, offensive guard, 6'3", 280 pounds in Miami, Florida. Alfonso Allen Jr., safety or strong safety, 6', 180 pounds in MacArthur, Florida. Kayshawn Spencer, APB, 5'10", 175 pounds in Melbourne, Florida. Dante Shepard, defensive tackle, offensive tackle, 6'3", 285 pounds in Edgewater, Florida. Kevin Brown Jr., defensive tackle or strong defensive end, 6'2", 245 pounds, also from Edgewater, Florida. Stephen Kempsey, punter or kicker, 5'11", 175 pounds in Park Vista, Florida. Jamal Ishmael, wide defensive end, 6'6", 210, Miami, Florida. Michael Tigg, tight end, 6'4", 214 pounds, Seffner, Florida. Mario Williams, slot receiver, 5'10", 170 pounds from Plain City, Florida. Lawrence Seymour, offensive guard, 6'1", 299 pounds from Miami, Florida. Michael McGoglin, offensive tackle, 6'7", 260 pounds from Parkman, Florida. J.C. Latham, offensive tackle, 6'6", 295 pounds, Bradenton, Florida. Gage Wilcox, Tight end, 6'4", 228 pounds, from Tampa, Florida. James Blackstrom, wide receiver, 6'2", 180 pounds, from Cocoa, Florida. Nick Elskins, tight end, defensive end, 6'5", 220 pounds, from Jacksonville, Florida. Timothy McLean, dual, 6'1", 190 pounds, from Sanford, Florida. Ige Hall, wide receiver, 6'3", 395 pounds, from Armwood, Florida. Marquise Robinson, no guard, 6'3", 300 pounds, from Milton, Florida. Canoe Coit, wide defensive end, 6'5", 224 pounds, from Vero Beach. James Williams, safety, 6'5", 220 pounds, from Davie, Florida. Luther McCoy, nose guard, 6'4", 285 pounds, from St. Augustine, Florida. Chase Smith, wide receiver, defensive back, 6'4", 185 pounds, Bayside, Florida. Desmond Watson, nose guard, 6'6", 335 pounds, from Seffner, Florida. Brandon Jennings, middle linebacker, 6'3", 220 pounds, from Sandalwood, Florida. Jason Marshall, cornerback, 6'1", 180 pounds, from Miami, Florida. In case you guys are just joining the show, guys, these are the top high school players in the state of Florida. Nick Lotto, dual, 6', 180 pounds, from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Christopher Marin, kicker, 5'10", 160 pounds, from American Heritage, Florida. Jacoby Brook, wide receiver, free safety, 6', 385 pounds, from Miami, Florida. Austin Drinkwater, offensive guard, 6'4", 285 pounds, from Mount Dora, Florida. Ricky Parks, running back, 5'11", 203 pounds, from Tampa Bay. Andre Bergaralis, kicker, 5'11", 160, from Charmaine Madonna, Florida. Vince Carroll, running back, 6'1", 195 pounds, from Bradenton. DeAndre McCray, APB or ATH, 5'10", 165 pounds, from Tallahassee. Caleb Johnson, offensive tackle, 6'7", 295 pounds, from Ocala, Florida. Mari Harvey, safety, 6'1", 180 pounds, from Tallahassee. Troy Stiletto, SWAT, 6 foot, 175 pounds, from Fort Lauderdale. Ramon Brinston, slot, 6'1", 180 pounds, from Miami, Florida. Adrian Moncrief, APB, 5'10", 155 pounds, from West Palm Beach. Trevon Rutger, APB, 6', 165 pounds, from Ocala. Savon Collins, 6'4", 290 pounds, Miami, Florida. Kitcharaz Eacher Jr., APB, 5'10", from Miami. Marcus Tate, offensive tackle or offensive guard, 310 pounds, 6'5", from Fort Lauderdale. Boise St. Ville, nose guard, 6'3", 341 pounds, from Fort Lauderdale. Dink Jackson, ATH, 6'1", 180 pounds, from Melbourne. Trevant Blake, APB, 5'9", 160 pounds, from Melbourne. Teron Arnold, safety, 6', 287 pounds, from Tallahassee. Marcus Burke, wide receiver, 6', 380 pounds, from Jacksonville, Florida. Deshaun Allen, middle linebacker, 6', 210 pounds, from St. Lucie. Tim Williams, defensive tackle, 6'2", 265 pounds, from Clearwater. Carson Bay, punter kicker, 5'10", 150 pounds, from Robinson, Florida. Jamal Savar, wide receiver, 6'2", 205 pounds, from Fort Lauderdale. Tyreek Sapp, strong defensive end, 6'2", 255 pounds, from Fort Lauderdale. Greg Crippen, offensive tackle or offensive guard. Offensive center, 6'4", 285 pounds, from Bradenton, Florida. Christopher Johnson, tight end, fullback or halfback, 6'2", 200 pounds, from Jacksonville. Jacoby George, slot receiver, 5'10", 160 pounds, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Christian Leary, 5'10", 180 pounds, from Edgewater. Reginald Session, nose guard, offensive tackle, 6'3", 340 pounds, from Hialeah, Florida. Leonard Taylor, defensive tackle, defensive end, 6'4", 270 pounds, from Miami, Florida. Walter Simmons III, dual, 6'2", 180 pounds, from Orange Park, Florida. Zavon Serrari, offensive linebacker, outside linebacker or an athlete, 6'3", 215 pounds, from Graceville, Florida. Bryce Langston, strong defensive end, 6'3", 250 pounds, from Vanguard. Pablo Adams, slot, 5'9", 170 pounds, from Nova, Florida. Omarion Cooper, cornerback, 6'1", 170 pounds, from Lehigh Acres. Miles Montgomery, running back, 5'10", 195 pounds, from Neptune Beach. Shabri Jackson, strong defensive end, 260 pounds, from Orlando, Florida. Tami Adu, SDE, 6'3", 300 pounds, from the IMG Academy in Bradenton. Kay Danoff, strong defensive end, 6'5", 235 pounds, from Lakeland, Florida. Tyler Johnson, outside linebacker, 6'2", 215 pounds, from Miami, Florida. Bernard Smith, APB, 5'9", 177 pounds, Miami, Florida. Kamar Wilkinson, safety wide receiver, 6'1", 190 pounds, from Bradenton. Kamar Ransom, dual, 6'3", 224 pounds, from Sefner, Florida. Anthony Hudley, defensive tackle, offensive guard, 6'3", 270 pounds, from Miami. Sherlon Reeder, wide linebacker, 6'5", 220 pounds, from Miami, Florida. Corey Grant, safety, 6'2", 170 pounds, from Miami, Florida. Thaddeus Franklin, running back, 6'2", 222 pounds, from Hollywood, Florida. And the last one is Stephen Salas, APB, 5'8", 170 pounds, from Lutz, Florida. There you go, guys. There are the top high school football players in the state of Florida at their respective positions. That is that guy. Top ones there. Let's go ahead, guys, and jump into a pretty hot story here recently. If you are in the Tampa Bay area, especially if you are following the Tampa Bay Rays, in one Blake Snell, who is the pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays, who came out just last week and is going against the MLB's new thing with reducing pay. Again, they are going to probably cut the season in half. I think the rumor is that it's only going to be 80-game season. His thing is that he here are the quotes coming from him. He signed a 5-year, $50 million contract last spring with the Rays. So here is what he said. These are his quotes, guys, and by listening to this, I have a hard time putting sentences together, but this is how he talks. Y'all gotta understand, man, for me to take a pay cut is not happening because the risk is through the roof. It's a shorter season, less pay. I gotta get my money. I'm not playing unless I get mine, okay? And that's just the way it is for me. Like I said, I'm sorry, guys, you think differently, but the risk is way the hell higher, and the amount of money I'm making is way lower. Why would I think about doing that? Like, I'm sorry. And later he said something. It's just scary to risk my life to get COVID-19. Actually, he said, in quote, this is what he said. He said, in short terms, he said, I don't want to get the Rona. That's how he described what he said. As well known as it's spreading to others, he said, text, I just want everything to be healthy and get back to normal because I know I miss mine. Again, guys, these are comments, and there were different people. I know there were other players that chimed in, including Bryce Harper, chimed in on saying that it isn't fair that they're taking a pay cut. But here's how I look at this, guys. They're taking a pay cut. They're making millions of dollars a year, yet there are over 30 million Americans that do not have a job right now. So in a way, if you want to look at it, that's fine that you're going to be taking a pay cut. So you're only going to be making $10 million a year. There are 30 million people, and even the people that are actually still working would sign on the dotted line to make $7 million a year for a while. I know I would. I don't know how many of you guys out there would say no to that statement, but I'm just saying that I know that I wouldn't say no to that And yes, I know they're putting their life on the line because he's right. They could end up getting the virus. A player could get it, and it spreads, and they could get sick. Yes, there are, there are things that can happen. But on the further point too, you're an athlete. You sign up for this. They're not dealing with the virus head on like first responders, the nurses and doctors in our hospitals that are dealing with that. So he is on a really thin bridge with a lot of fans. But then there are people out there that are supporting it. So again, it just depends on where you guys stand. I'm not, disagreeing with however you agree. If you agree with him or you disagree with him, that's fine. That's your opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But you have to be careful in a time like this where there's a lot of people that are at work. I believe in one ESPN analyst, Stephen A. Smith, said he needs to just shut up and play baseball. I don't know if I quoted Stephen A. correctly, but I will say that that's what happened. So that is how that went. Let me go ahead, guys. Going back to earlier this year, there was a horrific crash at Daytona. Again, the Daytona 500 starts the NASCAR season. And I will go in a little bit more detail about the NASCAR season on my show on Thursday on the Walker Report as it's returned back yesterday. But Ryan Newman had that horrific crash. In fact, to this day, that is the only caller that I have had on my show was Adam calling to tell me that he had crashed because I was on the air that day because it got rained out. And he was the only one that's called me still to this day on this show. But he said that parts from the car in his helmet during the thing. He said his car hit the wall, it flipped over and was hit by the driver's side by Corey Lombardi's car. The impact to Newman's car skidding down the track. He suffered a bruised brain in the crash, was able to walk out of the hospital days later. He did say that his helmet was very scratched. I don't have anything that is conclusive that says that his car hit my helmet. Newman said in a news conference Thursday, I don't know what parts of the inside of my car hit my helmet and crushed it, so to speak. I don't have any defined video that can give you the 100% answer that says it's exactly the second and this happened. That I see the end result and that my helmet did have contact on my head and neck. Did have contact. I was being moved backwards in my seat of my car and was moving forward. I can honestly tell you percentage of that interior and those physics that went into the actual action of the crash were being driven by his car hitting me or his car hitting my roll bars. So again, guys, this was Newman's fourth race with a new style of carbon fiber helmet after he was rendered from his car following the crash. He was immediately taken to a local hospital in serious condition. And yes, guys, he did walk out of the hospital. He said he had no memory of the crash or hours after. So again, he doesn't remember much after the crash. But again, guys, if you remember, he did walk out of the hospital days later after that crash. He did walk out of the hospital. So that was a good thing for Ryan Newman and actually for everyone that was in NASCAR because of, you don't want to start the year off with someone dying on the track, especially being that was the anniversary of Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s death at that same track in Daytona. They were trying to keep away from having another driver die. Real quick about the Buccaneers, how Bruce Arians' offense will look different under Brady's influence. Again, guys, if you are living under a rock and do not know that Tom Brady signed a 2-year deal with the Buccaneers, he has left the New England Patriots. He said earlier that he was getting tired of Josh McDaniels' offense, but then came back and said there's no hard feelings between the two of them. Bruce Arians, again, believes that Tom will make a big difference in the 2020 season on the offensive side of the ball. The thing that still puzzles me, guys, with the Bucs is they do not have a running back, but they have Gronkowski, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and company to throw the ball to. But again, you cannot be one-dimensional. And Brady's offense has not been one-dimensional except last year. And we all saw what happened in New England as he failed and the Patriots were knocked out. They lost in Week 17 to the Miami Dolphins and then lost in the first round to the Tennessee Titans, who went on to the AFC Championship game, who would then lose to the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs would go on to win the Super Bowl. But it's a different aspect this year. Again, we are just months away from the NFL season starting. We may have a season, guys, where we don't have any fans in the stands. That is a possibility, and stuff like that. So we're gonna have to kind of wait and see on what happens, on what happens with that, and maybe by then we'll have that. But real quick, to kind of have some bright spots today, this article came out in Tampa Bay Times here locally in Tampa Bay. Megan Reeves of the Tampa Bay Times wrote that all Florida public universities will reopen in the fall. They will have higher education leaders that have announced on Monday that they will reopen the schools. So again, if they reopen them, guys, again, the task force is focusing still on COVID-19. They will try to remain healthy, keep everybody healthy on campus. What that means, guys, is I think the NCAA came out earlier and said that if we do not have any kids going back to school, there would be no college football. Well, with them returning, at least in this state of Florida, again, guys, I don't know what the different states are going to do. I heard earlier last week the state of California may not go back to class, may not even have college football this year because of the state is still a hot spot. So they don't know if by the time August rolls around that it will be that way. If there will be a treatment or some kind of to the virus that maybe will help. At this point, we do not know. Again, we are still under the virus's timeline. That's basically how it goes, guys. Basically how it goes is we are under the virus's timeline. And that's just the way it is at the immediate moment. If you are into golf, there was a golf tournament over the weekend, but if you are into golf, there is a charity event going on this weekend, this Sunday, May 24th, and I will be reviewing the golf tournament on this show next week. It will feature Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson of the PGA Tour and former and Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning and current Tampa Bay Buccaneer quarterback Tom Brady will be playing in a charity event that will be helping the coronavirus relief efforts. It will be the teams are Woods and Manning versus Mickelson and Brady. So this should be something else to watch on TV. If you remember back 2 years ago in 2018, Mickelson played against Woods and won in 22 holes. As of the immediate moment, Woods and Manning are the favorites. So if you're risking $210 to win $100, that's basically what you would have to do. In the current Woods versus Mickelson odds, Mickelson and Brady are the underdogs going in. If you risk $100 to win 170, so they're the underdog. They're the plus 170. The tournament, guys, will be taking place. Let's see here. How we go here? This PGA Tour. Let's see exactly where this is taking place here. It will be. It will be at the Medalist Golf Club in Florida. I believe where it is located is just north of South Florida, and I mean Miami area, Fort Lauderdale area. I believe is where the Medellus Golf Club is. It's Hope Sound is the city that it's located in. So that is going to be something to see. I know myself, I will be watching the golf tournament. And again, guys, I will review and give you my uh, opinion next week on what happened in the tournament on Sunday. But that will be coming up this Sunday on TNT. It's not on pay-per-view. You don't have to pay for it to watch it. So go ahead and if you want to watch live sports and if you like to watch golf, I know a lot of people out there do not like to watch golf. They say it's boring to watch on TV. Being that I'm a golfer, I'm never bored with watching golf on TV. So that will be happening this upcoming Sunday, the 24th. So that is how that goes, guys. So that will be that. Let me go ahead now, guys, real quick, and give you guys some moments for the Lightning, Rays, Marlins, and the Panthers. Now, guys, before I get into this, guys, I'm really, really excited about college football coming back. As you can see behind me, I do have my USF thing back here. I'm hoping that if the media is allowed or if there's fans allowed at Raymond James Stadium, that I'm able to attend the game as a media member again this year. It has been an absolute pleasure being there to cover them for IROC Media or WBLZ Media. It's been a pleasure the last 2 years. I missed the spring game this year because of course, because of the coronavirus. The spring game got canceled. So there was no spring game. So hopefully I'll be able to talk about the Gators, the Noles, the Hurricanes, and everyone else that's and of course, the Rattlers and company that are in the state of Florida will be able to talk some college football. And then again to another amateur event that I like to talk to. I was talking to some of the Italy Rival Roller Derby skaters. They have a vote going on right now to return to practice. I don't know how that is going. I'll find out more later on this week. If they return to practice, there might be about in June. I don't know with how they're going to get everyone in the building as far as the fans, but they will have that is could be coming back very, very soon. I hope so, because yours truly might be the play-by-play guy, and that will be a freaking dream job for me to be play-by-play for Italy Rival Roller Derby. That's the ultimate goal as well as here. Let me go ahead, guys, and I'm going to start with the Florida Panthers. So here are some memorable moments for the Florida Panthers. Let's see. Their first game, guys, was on October 6, 1993, and they had a tie in their first game against the Chicago Blackhawks. So that is that. That was the first thing. October 8th, 1995 was the rat trick. Before the Panthers home opener against Calgary, Scott Mellenby killed a rat in the locker room and scored 2 goals in a win. Goalie John Van Beesbrook later said Mellenby had a rat trick and a gimmick was born. Almost immediately, fans started throwing plastic rats on the ice after every Panther goal. Tradition that only lasted a season. The NHL changed the rules, disallow the throwing of debris on the ice by fans. June 1st, 1996, the Panthers earned a berth in their first ever Stanley Cup final following dramatic Game 7 win over the Pittsburgh Penguins. June 10th, 1996, the clock strikes midnight. The Panthers' magical run came to a disappointing close as the Colorado Avalanche swept the Panthers in the Stanley Cup final. The Cats went down fighting through it. It took 3 overtimes for the Avalanche to notch a 1-0 victory. Van Beesbrook made 55 saves for the Panthers that night, but Colorado's 56 shot on goal sealed the series. October 9, 1998 is a new stadium as the Panthers moved into a national car rental stadium now known as the BB&T Center with a 4-1 win over their state rival, the Tampa Bay Lightning, that day. January 17, 1999, enter the Russian Rocket. The Panthers acquired Pavel Bure in a trade with the Vancouver Canucks. The Rockets scored 152 goals in parts of 4 seasons with the Panthers, leading the NHL in the 99-2000 season, 2000 2001 season. April 20th, 2000, the playoff droughts begin. The Panthers fell 4-1 to the New Jersey Devils, closing out a sweep in their last playoff appearance in 12 years. April 7th, 2012, Southeast Division champions. Having clinched the playoff berth 2 days prior, the Panthers won their first division title with a 4-1 win against the Carolina Hurricanes. So there are some bright moments, guys, for the Florida Panthers. Let me go ahead and move on to my hometown, Tampa Bay Lightning here. Here are some of the top moments for the Lightning in their history. Of course, being discovered back in 1992 by NHL Hall of Famer Phil Esposito, Art Williams, Bill Davidson, and Art Williams was the original owner, to Bill Davidson, then to Orrin Koules and Lynn Barry, and now present-day owner Jeff Vinik is the current owner for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Those are that. Of course, the Lightning winning the 2004 Stanley Cup, and that took a lot for them to win. They took 7 games in both the Eastern Conference Final and the Stanley Cup Final. The 7-game series in the Eastern Conference Final came against the Flyers, and then the Stanley Cup Final was won here in Game 7, a 2-1 Game 7 win over the Calgary Flames. Now, the current home, the Amway Arena, started back in 2012 as they spent $62 million to improve the current stadium. And here's some of the new things: the digital pipe organ, new views as they have an outdoor party deck. They have, I think the freaking coolest thing about it all is the Tesla coils. You guys have ever been to Amway Arena? I would suggest seeing the Tesla coils, because that's pretty cool. In that, there have been, different players that have come and gone. Vinny Lecavalier has been one of them. We drafted Steven Stamkos, which is still here. So there are some of the moments that we have here, guys, with the Lightning. But that is how that goes there, guys. So that's how that's just some of the moments that the Lightning have had. Before I get to the Rays and Marlins on next week's show, guys, I will do the college football, the 5 college football teams, and I'll go into of course, the Magic and the Heat next week, as well, to kind of complete the best of series. It seems like to me that we are getting back where I'll be able to talk about baseball soon with the Rays and Marlins, possibly the NBA coming back, possibly the NHL coming back. So we will have to wait and see how that all goes down. And if it goes down and the Panthers and Lightning come back, the Heat and the Magic come back, we'll have some stuff to kind of preview and talk about with them as well. So that will be definitely something that we can hit on next week. Let me go ahead and start with the top. Here are the top 10 moments for the Marlins, the Florida Marlins. Miami Marlins, as they're called now. They were at one time called the Florida Marlins. Now they are called the Miami Marlins. April 3rd, 1993 was their inaugural game. The Marlins kicked off their history with a win, topping the LA Dodgers 6-3. Knuckleballer Charlie Huff's first pitch was called a strike, even though he was well outside, but the crowd roared in approval anyway. July 11, 1995, Jeff Conine wins the All-Star Games MVP. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Conine led off with a pinch hit home run off of Steve Ontras to give the National League a 3-2 lead that would become the final score. He was awarded the All-Star Games MVP for the home run, the only time a Marlin has ever won the award. May 11, 1996, Al Leiter's no-hitter. Leiter threw the first no-hitter in Marlins history against the Colorado Rockies. Terry Pendleton and Charles Johnson homered for the Marlins. The Leiter was the star of the game, breaking out 6 and allowing only 2 walks. October 12, 1997, Livan Hernandez's 15 strikeout day. When umpire Eric Gregg strike zone was wide as MacArthur Causeway that day, and Hernandez took advantage. striking out 15 Atlanta Braves in a 2-1 win that put the Marlins on the brink of their first World Series berth. October 26, 1997, World Series Game 7. As they could be another game on the top of the list, down 2-1 in the bottom of the ninth, the Fish tied the game with a sac, flying us into extra innings. In the bottom of the 11th, with Craig Counsell standing on third base, Edgar Renteria sent up a single up the middle to end the series and send South Florida into euphoria. June 16, 2003, Dontrelle Willis's one-hitter, the legend of the D Train, was born on the night when he threw a complete game, one-hit shutout against the New York Mets. His performance was the lead headline on SportsCenter that night, introducing the outside world to Florida's high-kicking rookie phenom, who will go on to win Rookie of the Year. October 4, 2003, Konai Tapud ends the NLDS. For the first time in MLB history, postseason series ended to a play at the plate. Having taken a 7-5 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, the San Francisco Giants cut the Marlins lead to 1 in the top of the 9th, and with 2 outs, tying run at second base, Konai footed a Jeffrey Hammond single to left field and fired a dart to Ivan Rodriguez, who met JT Snow at home plate in a thunderous collision. Budge held on to the ball through the Marlins clinched a trip to their second in LCS. October 14, 2003 was the Bartman game. In Game 6 of the NLCS, Marlins were 5 outs from elimination against the Chicago Cubs, showing 3-0 in the top of the 8th inning. Luis Casino hit a foul ball into the left field with a runner on second. A 20-something-year-old Cubs fan named Steve Bartman inadvertently knocked the ball away before Cubs left fielder so Lou could get to it, keeping Castillo alive. You know what happened after that. Marlins went on to score 8 runs that inning, winning a Game 6 and 7 the next day to advance to the franchise's second World Series. October 25, 2003, the lights go out at Yankee Stadium. The Marlins clinched their second World Series title behind a complete game shutout from Josh Beckett. The Marlins could only muster 2 runs off Yankee starter Andy Pettitte, but that was more than enough. Beckett was electric, striking out 9, not allowing a Yankee base runner to even reach third base. He was named World Series MVP for his performance, giving up 2 runs in 16 and a third innings during the series. September 6, 2006, Anibal Sanchez's no-hitter. Sanchez was pitching just his 13th big league game when he no-hit the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was the 20th rookie in MLB history to throw a no-no, and he did it in the day his 3rd child was born. Okay, guys, and here are the top 10 moments for the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays win their first ever World Series game. The 2008 Fall Classic is probably the Rays' worst memory during their magical season. Defying all the odds and winning their first ever pennant, the Rays came to an abrupt ending against the Philadelphia Phillies. Although the series was not one to remember, the Rays will never forget the franchise's first World Series victory. They won Game 2 to tie the series at 1 apiece. James Shields got a win in a 4-2 victory, and rookie David Price came in later to close out the game. Hopefully October 23rd, 2008 won't be the last World Series game at Tropicana Field. Number 9, the Rays clinched the 2010 postseason. Rafael Serrano's strikeout of Adam Jones got the Rays back into the playoffs in 2010, closing out a 5-0 win against the Orioles. Star of the game that night at the Trop was David Price. Price pitched 8 scoreless innings in an absolutely stellar outing. 2010 was a great regular season for the Rays, as they also won their second AL East division title. Fortunately, their impressive season ended after losing to the Texas Rangers in the AL East. Matt Garza tosses the Rays' first ever no-hitter. July 26, 2010, the day Matt Garza threw his first no-hitter in team history. Garza's memorial outing was one of the 6 heroes of 2010, year of the no-hitter. Garza pitched an unbelievable game that night versus the Tigers, facing no more than a minimum of 27 batters and only giving up a single base run. It was a great compliment to a terrific season for Garza and a great season for the Rays pitching staff. All right. Wade Boggs joins the 3,000 hit club. August 7th, 1999. I was actually in the stand when this happened. The first great moment in the franchise history was also the most memorable moment in the Devil Ray era. Hall of Famer Wade Boggs got his long-awaited 3,000 hit that day. Boggs reached his historic hunt by blasting a home run into the seats of Tropicana Field, It was more of a career moment for Boggs than a franchise moment, but if you give Devil Ray fans a lot to be excited about. Boggs was the first franchise star playing in Tampa Bay for both the 98-99 season. It was just the second year of the franchise when Boggs joined the 3,000 hit club, and Rays fans were able to see a big hit happen at Tropicana Field. The Rays advanced to the 2008 ALCS. October 6th was one of the memorable fall nights for the Rays in 2008. Grant Belfour struck out future Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. to defeat the Chicago White Sox in the ALTS. It was the Rays' first ever postseason series. Did not have to clinch the next round. The Rays finished off the White Sox in 4 games. Dan Johnson's game time shot. September 28, 2011, one of the most incredible days of baseball history. If you're a baseball fan, you cannot forget this unbelievable night at the Trop. It was game 162 of the regular season. The Rays were tied with the Boston Red Sox after an amazing wild card comeback. The Rays were playing the Yankees that night, who jumped out to a 7-0 lead. The Rays, as they had done all season, had come way back, almost tied the game in the late innings. In the bottom of the ninth, with 2 strikes and 2 outs, Jan Johnson at the plate, as Rays Republic was wishing yet another miracle. Johnson ripped a screaming line drive off the foul pole, just like
I called that.
All tied up. So the rest of the story is absolutely unbelievable. The 2008 ALCS Rays won Game 2. Game 2 is the first of the 2 slugfest of the 2008 ALCS.
Yeah.
Game was pretty much.
I got to call him.
Yeah.
The Rays and the Red Sox.
I called the
Easy game.
Jersey until next Wednesday.
The Rays were in Perez at third. The big battle to
They
the
call
plate.
it from West Coast. West. At 1 in the morning, they are close. They might be able to see us tomorrow.
Rays clinched postseason for the first time with over 36,000 fans watching at the Trop. The Rays finally clinched the playoffs after 15 years. About off the bat of Joe Mauer closed out his first 7-2 victory. The Rays had done without nobody through the 2008 season. The Rays had everyone, as manager Joe Madden stated.
4:30
For
to
the reason to the
9 o'clock at night.
playoffs.
I mean, if we go Thursday,
12
if we
innings
see a Thursday or Friday, we should just stay
incredible
there.
regular season moments
Yeah.
in MLB history. A better script could not have been written.
I guess
After simultaneously the Red Sox were blowing in Baltimore,
let's do it.
same way the Yankees were blowing at the Trop. Right before Longoria stepped into the batter box, Orioles had stunned the Red
Well, I
Sox
called.
with an amazing 9-inning comeback.
I called. If we can
Now
get
the
the
Rays
call,
were
we
just a
call
run
in
away
the
for
morning.
a comeback, just like Dan Johnson had done it prior when Longoria ripped down the right field line. This time, a home run had won the game and clinched the Rays' third postseason appearance. There were really no words to describe them. And then, of course, number 1 guys, the Rays. In October 19, 2008, the day the Rays went from worst to first. Game 7 of the ALCS was a game that no Rays fan will ever forget. Matt Garza was called at the start of the game against the defending world champion Boston Red Sox. Garza pitched a game of his life, and rookie David Price was later called in to secure a ticket to the World Series. The young Price, with barely any MLB experience, closed out the series, crowning the Rays American League champions. The pennant victory still stands as the all-time high for the franchise. So there you go, guys. There are the top moments for both Rays, Marlins, Panthers, and stuff like that. Guys, I do apologize. I believe my producer had the microphone on the entire show there. If you hear any background noise, I do apologize. That's not my fault there. I think he had the microphone on. So that was you could hear him talking in the background. So I do apologize.
Sorry about that, Bradley.
That's okay, no problem. Let me go ahead, guys. But I think that's going to do it for this show. That was all that I have for this week. Like I said, guys, I will be back next week with more best of. We're going to talk about the golf tournament that's happening on the 24th. And we may have some, maybe by next week we'll have some news with the NBA or the NHL coming back, or maybe Major League Baseball, I believe, is going to start on July 4th. that's going to be the target date for them to start, as, of course, everything will be, of course, tested. And then, of course, we could talk, anything new with the Bucs or the Dolphins or the Jaguars. We get closer to the NFL season starting. And it's exciting news that, again, that college football will happen. Will we have fans? Maybe not. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But with that, guys, I just want to give a shout out to our first responders, our doctors, and our nurses dealing with COVID-19 every day. Thank you. You are the true heroes through all of this stuff. We do appreciate it. I also, again, as I do in every show, give a shout out to our men and women of our armed services. Thank you, both retired and active. Thank you for your sacrifice to our country. I would not be standing in front of this microphone talking. The microphone, guys, is right above me here, talking without you guys being here. To our first responders, our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics, thank you for doing what you do as well. Without you guys, domestically, we could not do what we do. And until then, guys, if you didn't get on here, I want to appreciate everyone that hopped on real quick this evening with me. I will be back next week, but I will be on my Thursday show, The Walker Report. If you guys want to hop over there, I'll talk about the national stuff over there. This is just strictly a Florida-based show. But anyway, guys, thank you for hopping on with me. Thanks to Breck and Mark Mancini. Thanks to all the people inside the Stables Network, all the other shows that are awesome. Go over there and listen to them, guys. They're all awesome. And until next Monday, guys, this is the Sports Nerd Brad Walker signing off. The Sunshine State Sports Jabber. Again, until next Monday, you guys take it easy, stay safe. Peace.